Gould. I'm running for mayor in the city of Toronto, and this is one of the most dysfunctional processes that you can ever imagine. The media has selected the people to vote for. There's 37 candidates already. We're given very little opportunity to express our point of view, and even when our points of view are expressed, the media refuses to cover it intelligently. And I'm not just the only one. There's many people that have similar ideas. We have to look to a different process if we expect democracy to work. In my campaign, I'd suggest people go to my website, www.homeplanet.org, and look there and you'll see the quality of what we might have in our city and in the world, because I'm a world peacemaker, and I can see how we can use our resources here in Toronto, one of the wealthiest cities in the wealthiest countries in the world. We can use our resources for world peace. And if we don't start to think like that, how can we do it? We're all doomed. We have to look at making peace. When humankind makes peace, peace will make money.
Very good. You began with a frustration. You're ending on a note of hope. This afternoon was the Seniors Forum. We had over a dozen candidates, other than the three ones that are being paid the most attention to by the media. As this is going on the internet, as we know the way to get the message out there, what did you feel about today's issues, the questions that were raised? They weren't always going to the three media mayors candidates.
Well, for me, I found it frustrating, at least when I was in the audience. When I wasn't on stage, I had an opportunity to participate more actively. Here, the questions tend to go to the first three because the media trains the audience to go to those three. So it's not, it may appear more democratic, but in fact it was less democratic. It was, so it's a conundrum. It means the process. We have to look to the circle. How do we work in a circle? This is a traditional thing in the First Nations thing. When you bring 400 chiefs together, how do they come together to decisions? They have a process. You don't do it in a 2-hour session with 14 people on stage and 3 moderators. It can't be done. So we have to look to process, and our processes are wrong. And the money, if we looked at the way our city does, if you send me $100, the city gives you back $75. Well, that's a blessing for you, and it's a blessing for me. But it's systemically, it screws everything up. Well, we took all that money that's going back to the people that's funding this, and we used that same city money to design a better process. Now that would be an intelligent use of our money. Today we talked about seniors issues. In the vision I have of Toronto, which you find on homeplanet.org, if you look at the vision where I talked about the stroke of a pen, all we do is we allow people that own houses and buildings to go one extra story up. We take that, we have 1 million new potential homes. And imagine we only did 10,000 a year. In 3 years we got rid of moved the homeless into situations and take the stress off the seniors, because the additional housing that we would be building would be to look after seniors, people in their own homes, and it would look after the people in the homeless. And the way the model works, they become food gatherers and people who help develop our food system. So we save the costs relative to food production, and we'd be eating healthy food because we'd be growing sprouts, and it's a very simple process to grow green sprouts in your home, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a full-fledged gardener to do this. And so we would be feeding people, giving people jobs, giving people housing, and look at the construction boom that it would create. Unheralded in human history. And that model actually has been tried in Europe. That's where, they always they used to build up an extra story. And so we don't need to invent anything new. We just have to do what we know, use our wisdom. As my uncle says, he says, we have wisdom, we need to know how to use it.
And that's a good note to end on. However, I'd like to actually have an epilogue to this. You had actually mentioned the painting behind us, and I'd I'd like to just focus in on that and for you to tell us something more about that before they'd actually cut you off.
That is the story of all life. It's the story of Turtle Island. If you look at the turtle there on the bottom, and you see the man and the woman are holding up the earth in the four directions. And the four directions and the four colors, it indicates the white race, the yellow race, the red race, and the black race as an idea. So the man and the woman are in balance holding them up. You can see that. And then they're standing on Turtle. We are on Turtle Island here in North America. And then on the right we have Grandmother Moon, and on the left we have Father Sun. And then on the sides we have the different clans, and they're represented by different characteristics of animals that are there that the different tribes took on in their lives. So if you look at that in a good way, you also notice that the pine trees there. The pine trees are the tree of peace. So we see that the man and woman in balance, standing on Turtle Island, they hold up the world. So it's the balance between us, honoring the elderly, honoring nature and all the elements. This goes when you look deeply into this, and understand the Iroquois Thanksgiving address. You see that this is what you bring into your mind when you say the Thanksgiving address. So it's a beautiful painting that is the history of our lives is embedded in that painting. And through that we can make peace through understanding that balance.
Okay, thank you, Mitch Gold, candidate for mayor, November 13th, 2006.
Go for gold.
Go for gold. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Excuse me, I like this. Are you serious about running?
I'm sorry?
Are you serious about running? Because I was hearing the way you were talking.